Okay, let's go ahead and pick up with this quadratic equation. This time I'm going to finally show you how to use the t-chart. The quadratic equation is going to have two formattings. It's going to have one where it's really simple, it's just an x squared, and then we may have experiences with others where it's beyond just the x squared. You're going to have an x and a constant. Two formattings that we'll be familiar with. The one that we're going to go ahead and graph right now is just going to be an easy guy. We call this the parent function of quadratics. It's y equals x squared. And the reality is that I want to go ahead and create a XY table, one of my visual aids here. It's an X and a Y. And I'm really not too picky on how many you guys want to pick. We talked about it in class, somewhere between 3 and 4. On a quadratic, it's nice to keep the numbers even, but just enough to give you guys exposure on the overall shape and where it's happening. So when it comes to a t-chart, you're in control. You pick your X values. Now, be smart about it. Keep the numbers small. The smaller the numbers are, the easier the math's going to be. So why not? Don't go out and be all crazy and be like, I want to go ahead and pick, negative 1,000. Well, guess what? You're going to have to draw a graph all the way out to negative 1,000. So let's be smart about it. I like to pick 0 as a center, and then I kind of like to work my way out on each side. It's a little uneven, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and create this and plug it in. And everything I'm plugging it in is I'm plugging it right back into the equation. So let's start with 0 because that's super easy math. And tell me what 0 squared is. Now, if you don't recall what the square is, that means to multiply that number twice. So 0 times 0, which is still going to give me 0. I'm going to plug in the 1. 1 times 1, 1. Plug in the negative 1. Well, this is where you're going to take the negative with it. So negative 1 times negative 1, that should give me a positive 1. And I'm going to keep going. 2 squared. 2 times 2, that's 4. Negative 2 times negative 2, that's also 4. Negative 3 times negative 3, that's negative 3 squared. That's what we're plugging it into. We're plugging it into the square. That's going to give me 9. And by the way, if I would make it come all the way out to a positive 3, I'd get 9 there as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and talk about plotting it. These are my ordered pairs. These are where I want to go ahead and put the dots. So I have a dot right here at the origin. That's 0, 0. Check. A dot at 1, 1. So that means to go to 1 on the x-axis and then have it meet up at 1 on the y-axis. So that's where this happens. That's a dot there. I have one at negative 1 and 1. 2 and 4, negative 2 and 4. So I go to the 2 up to 4, go to the negative 2 up to 4. And my chart doesn't go up to 9, so I'm going to go ahead and start there. And guess what? I'm going to connect and form a quadratic. That is the graph of y equals x squared. We're going to get very familiar with that when we have a lot of questions to ask ourselves. So as you're plugging it in, you're picking your own x's, replacing the x in the equation, and then just doing the math in order to get your y's, and then you'll end up with an ordered pair so you know where to line everybody up on the quadrants. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.